Hey everybody, welcome to English 111, Composition 1. I'm your instructor, Tiffany Lester Trosher. Most students just call me Mrs. LT. And I will be assisting you throughout the quarter here in Comp 1. So if you're watching this video, that means you made it to Brightspace, you clicked on our course, hopefully you read the little welcome announcement over on the left-hand side, and then you clicked on the Content tab up at the top. When you clicked on that, it brought you into the content for the course, sort of the heart of the class, where everything is, where all the action takes place. When you got to the content, you saw some tabs going down the left-hand side of your screen. The first one was Getting Started, and underneath that was the tab for Week 1 module, and then Week 2 module, and so on and so forth. I had asked you in the welcome announcement to click on the Getting Started tab. When you did that, you saw several sub-tabs appear underneath. The first one was Course Introduction. So it just provides a very brief overview of what this class is all about. Underneath that was the next sub-tab called Meet Your Instructor. My contact information is in that section, my email and my personal cell phone, so some useful things in that sub-tab. And then the sub-tab we're currently in, How to Find Your Way Around. Underneath this one is a sub-tab for Attendance and Weekly Deadlines. If this is your first online class, I highly suggest looking at that video, watching that video. But even if, this is sort of old hat to you, one thing that's kind of handy in that sub-tab is I give you a chart of each week and the specific dates for this quarter. So that might be a useful thing for you. Underneath that sub-tab, you'll see the syllabus for the course. And then the last sub-tab here in the Getting Started section is instructions for using Google Docs. You'll find out later that there are some assignments in this course that are required to be submitted in a more formal way. So you will need to either use Microsoft Word, Google Docs, PDF, something like that. So if you don't have access to Microsoft Word, you can use those instructions for creating a Google account, and it also provides instructions on how to use Google Docs. But right now we are in the How to Find Your Way Around sub-tab. That's what we're going to focus on. I'm going to make sure that everyone understands how I have set up the course and what you need to do each week in order to be successful. So, first things first, we need to talk about how many hours of work you can expect each week. So this is a 40-hour class, 40 contact hours, spread out over our main 10 weeks, because week 11 is final exam week, but spread out across those main 10 weeks, that averages out to 4 hours a week. Normally, those 4 hours are spent in the classroom each week. But composition is an online course. We're not in the classroom ever. So you have to do those 4 hours on your own at home. In addition to those 40 contact hours, or what I like to call in-class hours, you're also expected to do a total of 20 to 30 hours of outside work spread over those 10 weeks. So that averages out to 2 to 3 hours per week of out-of-class work, or homework, if you will. So your 4 hours of contact each week would be what we would do in the classroom, except now you have to do it at home on your own. And then 2 to 3 hours of homework each week. And you also have to do that now on your own. So you really need to expect that, or understand, that this class is designed to give you a total of 6 to 7 hours of work each week. If you can keep that in your head, that 4 of those hours would normally be spent in the classroom, it makes it a little easier to understand why you're spending so much time on this class. Because you have to get those 4 hours in each week. That's how we keep our accreditation. But you're also expected to have those additional hours of homework and assignments. So, but now it's all done outside of the classroom. So if you can keep that in mind though, I'm not going to say it makes it easier, because you still have to figure out when to do the work. But it at least helps you understand why there's so much work each week. Just keep reminding yourself, oh yeah, 4 of these hours I would normally be in the classroom. And then when you go to class on campus and you're there for 4 hours, you don't even think about it. You don't even think that that's part of the hours of work you have to do. But you always expect some amount of homework, I would imagine. So it's the same for this course. It's just all done at home. Now, to help you sort of visualize that even more, I have set up each weekly module to sort of reflect that breakdown of hours. So when you click on a module for whatever week we're in, you're going to see several subtabs. All of those subtabs are the lessons for that week. What we would normally do in the classroom. The final subtab in each module are the homework assignments for that week. Some of those items maybe we would have done in the classroom as well. You know, little exercises and smaller assignments that we would do together in class. And then the other items listed as homework would have been actual homework. I would have sent you home with them to work on before coming back the following week. But for the sake of keeping things in separate spots, I've put all graded items under the homework tab for that, or sub-tab for each week. So let's take a look. All right. When you click on the week 1 module, you're only going to see one thing at first, and that is the week 1 attendance quiz. I go into detail about the attendance quiz more in the sub-tab on attendance and weekly deadlines underneath this sub-tab. But what you need to know right now is you can't see anything for week 1 until you submit that attendance quiz. The good news is that it is one very easy true-false question, and it does not count towards your grade. It is, again, I explain this in more detail, but it's just to help you trigger your attendance each week, and it's one place instructors can go to track attendance each week. So all of the material for each week is hidden until you take the attendance quiz. Once you submit the attendance quiz, you come back to the content, come back to the modules, you click on week 1 module, and boom, you'll be able to see everything. Alright, now, when we click on week 1 module, that tab, you actually do see the agenda for week 1. It tells you, the first item, first bullet point, take the week 1 attendance quiz. It says you must complete this quiz to view the week 1 materials and assignments. So in case you forget, it's right there. Right? So if you click on a weekly module and all you see is the attendance quiz, and you're thinking to yourself, oh wow, this must be a free week. No, it's there. on the agenda, there on the week 1 module tab or whatever week you're on, it will remind you that you have to take that week's attendance quiz, and then you'll be able to see everything for that week. You get an idea, though, from the agenda, what's in store. And then when you take the quiz, all of those items will then appear underneath that sub-tab for week 1 attendance. Here's what you'll see for week 1. After the attendance quiz, the next item on that agenda is the syllabus review. There's a video there where I go over the syllabus and hit all the highlights for you. The next item on the agenda is Weekly Journals Explained. It's another video that explains how the weekly journals work and how you'll be graded. The next item is an introduction to writing. There'll be a PowerPoint and a video lesson. The next item on the agenda is the writing process. There'll be another PowerPoint and another video lesson. And then you have the homework assignments. Now, if you look at that agenda and the order that everything is listed, and then you look at those sub-tabs under week 1 module after you've taken the week 1 attendance quiz, the order matches up. So underneath the attendance quiz, you see syllabus review, that sub-tab. That's what was next on the agenda. And then you see Weekly Journals Explained. That's the next sub-tab under the syllabus review. That's also the next item on that agenda, and so on and so forth. So not only does the agenda give you an idea of what we're going to be covering that week, but it also matches up exactly to the order of all the sub-tabs in the week 1 module. And again, the last sub-tab in each module are the homework assignments. So you click on week 1 homework assignments. It will have matched up with the homework listed there on that agenda on the week 1 module tab. So that agenda told us that for homework, you would have the syllabus acknowledgement, that you would have the pre-course assessment quiz, that you would need to read chapters 1 and 2, that you would have the week 1 journal, that you would have week 1 assignment 1, and then week 1 discussion. The order that they're listed there at the bottom of the agenda is the same order they're listed under the week 1 homework assignments sub-tab. So everything matches up. That agenda also appears in the weekly announcement on our course homepage. So as soon as you come to our course, every time you log into Brightspace and you go to our class, there's a weekly announcement there. That announcement has the agenda for the week. Then you come into the content, you click on that week's module, and boom, the agenda's right there also. And then once you take the attendance quiz for that week, and all of the sub-tabs appear underneath, all of those sub-tabs match up with the agenda. Every single week is set up the same. You can look at week 2 after you take the attendance quiz that week. You'll see it all matches up, right? So you can't take the attendance quiz until that week begins, but once you do, you'll see that everything matches up. And if you just want a little brief idea, a general idea of what's in store for any given week, but you don't have time to go into the quiz and take it and submit it, you can come into the content, go to that week's module, look at the agenda, and see what's in store for you, and then when you have time, come back, take that week's attendance quiz, and then you can start going through the material. And again, it is set up the exact same way every single week. Click on the module tab, you'll see the agenda over on the right-hand side of the screen. The only item you'll see underneath that module tab is that week's attendance quiz. Once you take it, everything else will show up. It all goes in the order that it's listed on the agenda. Homework assignments will be listed last. Now, as I said before, the way I've designed it is so that you can go to each weekly module and all of those sub-tabs will represent the lessons for that week. That those are the items we would have covered in the classroom together. And then the homework is all listed last. If you have ever been absent for an on-campus class, you know, A, despite that absence, you're still responsible for the homework, right? Might be late, right? But you're still responsible to do the work that you missed, right? To get the work that you missed. You also know that it's not always so easy to try to do that homework if you haven't learned the material that was covered in class that week. So don't try to do it here either. Go through the material first. Go through those subtabs, all of those lessons, and then do the homework assignments. Now, there are 2 assignments each week that you could get by with not having gone through the material yet. The journal for that week and the discussion for that week. Both of those items don't require the lessons from that week, so you could do those before you go through the material in that weekly module. Any other assignments that are listed each week, though, being able to do well on them will require you to learn the material that was provided that week. Every lesson in every week will consist of either a handout that I've copied and pasted onto the screen, or, more likely, a PowerPoint. For every handout and PowerPoint, there will also be a video lesson where I go over the handout or go over the PowerPoint. The videos can be on the longer side sometimes, right? If we were in the classroom, you know, I might have an hour's worth of stuff to tell you, to explain to you about a lesson. But we would take breaks, right? You can take breaks while you're watching my videos. You can do other things while you're watching my videos. You could be doing the dishes or folding laundry, or bring it up on your phone and listen to it while you're driving. But don't disregard the videos. And I try to warn you in the description if they're on the longer side, but don't skip the videos. And certainly if you go through a PowerPoint and you're not certain, you're not sure of the material that was in the PowerPoint, watch the video. It will help you. So if you can think of all the subtabs in each module as the lessons for that week, and realize that in order to do well on assignments and any other big graded items, you have to learn the material first. Try to resist the urge to go in each week, take the attendance quiz, and go straight to the homework and try to do everything without looking at the lessons. You can do that with the journal and the discussion each week, but all other assignments, you need to learn that material to do well. Now, even if you don't do well on the assignments, you usually get full credit for doing it if you turned it in on time, because I grade on effort for the most part. But there are some formal graded assignments in this course. And if you aren't learning the lessons along the way, then doing well on those formally graded items will be difficult. And those formally graded items are the ones that you don't just get full credit for just for doing it. I actually assess them and give them a grade. They are also the items that are worth the biggest percentage of your overall grade. So while I understand the temptation to just take the attendance quiz and go straight to the homework assignments for that week, don't put yourself in that position. At the very least, go through the PowerPoints and handouts. If anything seems the least bit confusing, anything you're the least bit uncertain about, there are the videos to help explain everything. So that's my advice for how to be successful in this course. Don't let the ease of access tempt you to take shortcuts or take the easy way. It's not a super difficult class. It is work. It takes time, for sure. If you can just remember, 4 hours each week would have been what we did in the classroom together. The other 2 to 3 hours would have been the homework assigned for that week. And now you just have to figure out how to accomplish all 6 to 7 hours on your own at home. Figure out how it works best in your schedule. And that doesn't mean you have to do all 6 to 7 hours straight, by no means. Break it up. Figure out what days and times work best for you. Go through a couple lessons here, a lesson there, an assignment here, an assignment there, right? But just make sure that you're going through the material the way that I have laid it out for you each week. It's the same each week. So after the first week or two, you'll get the hang of it, and it's the same format every time. But if you have any questions, if you run into any difficulties any given week, I'm always here. But just use what is given to you here on Brightspace to your advantage, and just know that I'm here to support you and back you up in whatever way that I can. Okay. Alright, so that's it for this video. Go ahead and move on and at least look over the sub-tab on attendance and weekly deadlines. You can take a look at the syllabus as well, but I will go over it in the week 1 module material, right?